Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. So let's make some new friends today. And let's get social, and I don't mean social media, yuck. No, let's get together in real life, and I know just the place. It's the historic El Casino Ballroom's diamond anniversary, and I'm here to celebrate with the Latin American Social Club. When it opened in 1947, El Casino Ballroom hosted family milestones as well as touring musical acts, including traditional Hispanic musicians such as Tito Puente and other world-renowned performers like James Brown and Fats Domino. Some of these guys must have caused a scene because at some point in 1991, they blew the roof off the place, at least a windstorm did. The wood floor, once the largest spring-mounted floor in southern Arizona, was almost destroyed by that monsoon. Fortunately, thanks to the dedicated efforts of many, El Casino Ballroom reopened in 2000 and has been a destination for weddings, quinceañeras, and other special events ever since. Today, my guests are Fred Martinez, manager of El Casino Ballroom, and Raul Aguirre, REA Media Group and volunteer of the Latin American Social Club. Welcome to Lifestyle Tucson, gents.
What a wonderful journey you just presented, Frank, in terms of the Casino Ballroom. The Latin American Social Club has been around since 1932, and then they created the Casino Ballroom in 1947. And Fred Martinez is here with me. He's been with the casino. His family has been part of the Casino Ballroom for so many years. And of course, the Casino Ballroom is based in the city of South Tucson, in what is called Barrio Libre, and it's really been the heart of our community for so many years in terms of social, political, and educational activities that really empower, everything that we do in our community. So we're glad to be here. Thank you for having us. And I'm going to let Fred talk a little bit about this great celebration. It's the 75th anniversary of the Casino Ballroom, and we're going to party.
Heck yeah. Sounds like we're partying for a couple of days, too. It's going to take place on the 9th and the 10th.
Exactly.
September 9th and 10th. First of all, thank you, Frank, for inviting us. And I want to thank my good friend here, Raul, that I've known since first grade at Mission View Elementary School. But anyway, yes, we
go back that back.
Old friends are the best.
I tell you. And Raul mentioned a little bit about history about the Casino Ballroom. Actually, in 1947, it was built by three gentlemen, Lastanao, Cicados, Jacobs. And then Lastanao took it over. The Latin American Social Club became part of the El Casino Ballroom in the late 60s when they were doing urban renewal downtown.
Correct.
Okay, the Latin American Social Club was founded in 1932. A lot of veterans, actually my grandfather was one of them. He was World War I vet.
Okay.
He was out here with a blackjack Pershing chasing Pancho Villa. And then, next thing you know, Doughboy over in France,
Wow.
that sort of thing. And then later generations like my dad, World War II, Korea, many of the club members. But anyway, they had their club where the TCC is now.
Okay.
And so when urban renewal, we could talk about that for a while, but was coming around, they had to move, eminent domain, they call it. So the monies they got, my dad knew Adolfo Lastanao,
Right.
the owner. He was going to give it to his son, got killed in a car accident, so he wanted to sell the El Casino Ballroom. So my dad was on the board of the Latin American Social Club, and he presented to them, why don't we buy it, and then we'll build our club.
Well, you had to move somewhere else because urban renewal meant the displacement of so many, not just Mexican-American Chicano families, but Jewish families, Jewish business owners, Asians,
Oriental,
the
yes,
Chinese.
yes,
You know,
many.
we have a lot of Chinese in our community. You know, like Jerry Liho. You know, I was talking the other day to Jimmy Shee, my good friend, God bless her, and rest in peace and power, Lorraine Lee.
Lorraine Lee.
All this.
Definitely.
In the African American community as well,
Yeah.
we were really intertwined in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And when they created the urban renewal, they removed all those people, including El Charro was moved to where it is now at
Exactly.
Franklin.
Exactly. They
I was
had
going to
them.
bring up. So I did the comic for El Charro. They made a comic for their kids menu, and I told the story of Monica and how she had to move
Yeah.
her original location
was
to
part of
where
it.
it is now because
There
it was
you
part
go.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, El Zarape was moved also out.
Man.
What's the
Pat's
other?
chili dogs.
Pat, Pat Chili was it? Was Pat there?
Pat's was there.
That's right. Pat.
No kidding.
Pat was moved to Grande. Yeah, they all had to move, and really the money wasn't as good as people may think. But it was a disaster. You know, interestingly enough, one of they did a heritage survey of places that Tucsonians love and cherish and always want to preserve. And the Casino Ballroom came number 2 after
Wow.
the San Javier Mission.
Really?
And then
What
number
does that
two,
tell you?
number 3 was El Tiradito, I believe. And you know, I want to thank Dr. Lidia Otero, who wrote a great book. If you are interested in the
Definitely.
history of this urban renewal, thank you for mentioning it, Fred, and how the casino was moved also to the city of South Tucson in those days. Dr. Otero wrote a book called La Calle, the street, which is what we called it. La Calle was the main street where, you know, kind of Barrio Viejo, where Lalo Guerrero, the father of Chicano music, was born.
Wow.
Right there. For your listeners to kind of think where it may be, it's right down the street from Carrillo School.
Yeah,
And
18th and Meyer, all that area.
Right, Meyer.
6 between South 6. They call it 5 Points area.
right, a little
Right.
Just west of it.
a little bit north, and by El Minuto Cafe, all that area. So all those survived, but the rest were removed. And then the casino, of course, like I said, became this heart of this community that was in many ways displaced by this movement. So we're celebrating the survival of it, the fact that every politician worth their salt has gone there to ask for the Mexican American
vote.
Chicano
Yeah, they
vote.
wanted to vote,
And I'm not
yeah.
going to tell the story about Goldwater, but
Yes,
to
you
me
got to
before.
say it.
Yeah,
You got to say
yeah.
it. It's a good one. It's a good
yeah,
one.
it is a good story. I think. Well, I'm gonna say it's a story about Fred's dad, Butch Martinez, and Goldwater was doing the campaign, and they wanted to be at the Casino Ballroom, and they sent a team, and they didn't like the restrooms, so they said, Mr. Martinez, the restrooms, you need to renovate before they come because, they
This is Goldwater will be
yeah,
here.
this is Goldwater. He's the guy, and Mrs. Goldwater may not really be pleased with the restrooms. So Butch very seriously looks at the people in
They
front
were
of
his
him,
aides.
the aides,
Goldwater's
the
aides.
advanced team, and says, well, if the restrooms are good enough for Mrs. Martinez, then they better be good enough for Mrs. Goldwater.
There you go.
And that was it. And he said, they're freshly painted, they're clean, they're pristine, but I'm not doing any renovations just because you're going to show up one time. So it shows you the fortitude and the strength of the community in terms of knowing who we are and where we are and why we are. And I think that kind of resilience, the importance on the cultural, the educational events, the political, events that they do there when people come. Raúl Castro, the first Mexican-American governor, held many events there while, campaigning. You've had, of course, since then, Congressman Raúl Grijalva. You have Governor Napolitano and so many others. Every politician worth their salt comes to the Casino Ballroom to say, let me throw a party, let me talk to you,
Yeah.
or just comes and says, you're here, let me talk to you. So it's very important, I think, and from both parties. It hasn't been just You know, because people think it's just one side. Not lately, but not for a little while.
Yeah.
But it's really a great headquarters to know the pulse of the community, Frank. To know and lately also community radio has been part of it. KXCI, hi to Elva. I'm gonna say hi to Elva because she's a good friend. You know, they're partaking of doing things, and also commercial radios like your radio stations. Have done a lot of events there. And, of course, the major artists. Tito Puente has been there. You mentioned some people that...
Yeah,
people
Fats Domino was there.
Yeah,
too.
people think Fats Domino was there? It was actually a story on the Arizona Daily Star.
Wow.
They actually took a picture where he was there with some Latino musicians.
Yeah, even before them, well, going back a little bit, when the Latin American Club bought the Casino Ballroom, it was in the late 60s. But before that, in 1947, you already had major artists because at that time there was no TCC like we're talking.
Right.
There was no Sol Casinos or Desert Diamond. This was the place. And back then it held 1,200 people.
Yeah.
And it had the biggest dance floor in the state of Arizona. People loved to dance. 1954, Duke Ellington. They had, Sir Duke was there.
Right.
You had Tommy Dorsey, Then, of course, all the Hispanic, Latino acts back in those days. And then in the late 50s, early 60s, you used to get what they called the Chitlin Circuit.
What's that?
What that was you had Chubby Checker, the Ronettes. They were in buses. They were driving because and they'd stop at the El Casino Ballroom
And play.
Two reasons. They knew the big dance floor, everybody wants to dance. Capacity, was 1,200.
Yeah.
But this was where they were allowed in those days.
There's a key point, isn't
Yes,
it? If we're going
yes,
back
it is.
75 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
a
was
lot of-
some of the things that
They were welcome.
some of the history, some of the culture, Another thing that people would always ask me, Fred, you mean the place capacity was 1,200? Why was it so big? They said, and Tucson was small back then, 1947, 50. It was still a small town. I said, look, you gotta understand, in the Hispanic culture, huge families.
I was about to say, you're not having a couple come out. You're having a couple of couples, a couple of their kids, grandma's coming too.
They actually had to disinvite some people
You gotta disinvite people.
because the capacity was loaded already.
I kid you not, and I worked there. I started as a kid cleaning up. My dad had my brother, me, and my cousin cleaning to earn money, right? You're not going to get allowance. You're going to earn allowance.
Right.
But for us, it was great fun.
Yeah.
And then I started bartending when me and this young gentleman next to me, we were seniors in high school.
Yeah.
I was 17 years old. Times were different back then.
Shout out to Pueblo High School.
Pueblo High School.
Warriors.
These weddings, quinceañeras, like this picture right here. This is 1969.
The public cannot see it, but we are. It's a great 1969. Talk about it.
You had weddings, you had families, and because it's like on my mom's side, there was 9 aunts and uncles. On my dad's, there was a dozen. And that was norm.
Yeah.
Around the neighborhood there, the Rodriguez, there was 17 kids.
Yeah.
17 kids.
Yeah.
So when there was a family event, RSVP used to be like this, the old dial tone.
Yeah.
Vamos.
Yeah. Let's go. Show up.
And
Starts at 5.
Kids and all.
Yeah.
And there was no, kids. No, they bring the kids, everybody. So 1,200, believe me, and I worked many, many weddings, quinceañeras, whatnot. We had to close the doors. Yeah, we had to close the doors. So you had that element going on since 1947, culture, history going on, the big groups.
Music.
And then in the early 80s, a new element came in there. KXCI radio station, community radio station, we're looking to raise funds for their radio station. And they knew that the casino was there for the community. We helped kids, youth groups, mariachi groups, things like funerals, whatever.
Yeah.
People need to. We're there for the community. And so they said, hey, I have to mention them. His name is Jeb Schoonover and Paul Bear.
Oh,
They were the DJs at KXCI at the time.
Yeah.
And they used to go to the casino ballroom for events. They said, man, that place is great. We ought to bring shows here. Boom. They started bringing shows. I mean, I was amazed. They brought Zydeco music. They brought rock. As I'm sitting here with you and this terrific radio station, this and that, I still remember KLPX brought shows there.
Yeah.
They brought, I think I mentioned them to you.
You mentioned, I think, Stryper. You had mentioned.
Yes.
Anthrax, maybe.
Anthrax?
Yeah.
Yes. Geez, and I'll show you a poster later that they sent me. It's amazing the suicidal tendency, Whitesnake,
Heck yeah.
Striper. They were there.
Well, the diversity, I think.
Yeah.
And it
Cross
goes back.
culture.
And I want to mention, Fred, when you mentioned the African American experience, that they were not just because there's a picture also of Duke Ellington in one of the reports. I think in the old reports from the Arizona Daily Star. They were welcome because they were welcome with open arms because they were so famous, and they wouldn't let him play anywhere else. But casino was, their doors were open. The community came who knew of them from the radio and welcomed them to our community. So the diversity has been there since the beginning, and also in raising money. And I want to emphasize, as we celebrate this September 9 and 10, it's a free concert. All kinds of groups are going to be playing. There's going to be food and fun and community. Bring your friends, bring your family, get acquainted with the greatness of the Casino Ballroom, which is really right now only half of what it used to be. And hopefully in the future we're going to be launching a capital campaign to open it up and make it back to what it was with that largest dance floor. But what they've done, Frank, is Fred has done a great job of raising literally millions of dollars for our community. No matter who comes, they say, hey, I have usually, of course, Saturday nights is going to be booked because of the weddings, the quinceañeras, the Fridays. But I cannot think of any Sunday that he doesn't donate the place so people can come and have an event and raise money for charity, for baseball, for softball, for mariachi, for symphony, whatever the group can come, and also Thursday nights and Wednesdays, wherever it's available. And I think their contribution has been awesome. I want to also mention that I've been one of the lucky people who personally benefited from the Latin American Social Club. In 1974, they gave me a scholarship to the University of Arizona.
That's huge.
It was a 4-year scholarship. They paid for everything. And I remember it was my first encounter with, because Butch, his dad, was very strong about saying to the university, in those days, there were not even 100 Mexican American, Chicanos, Latinos.
Even here.
There was more Central American and Latin Americans at the U of A than our own community from Arizona, not just from Tucson.
Isn't that something?
So the impact that they have was amazing. For example, Liz Miller, who was one of our also friends, and she got a scholarship the same year, and she went on to become city manager.
Wow.
And
the judge.
Really? Wow.
The judge, La Bernal.
Margarita Bernal, who was also a judge, she got a scholarship. Yeah. Suzuarregui, Esperanza Suzuarregui, who now I think lives in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they really have had a big impact in that generation that came out of Pueblo and Tucson High in that year, in 74. But many other years, they continue to be like the recruitment arm for the U of A. And I remember he brought the president of the university to the Casino Ballroom to say, this community deserves for you to be there. it deserves for you to look at their intellectual capacity and their academic dreams. And that to me was so significant. And there's a picture that I know they're going to be showing at this place where all of us are there. And it was a good group of a good generation that did a lot of good things. So I'm grateful to them and all the work that they did over the years. I was just one of those recipients that year. Oh, there's the picture. You can see it, Frank.
Oh, there it is. I see
in
it.
the program. And all those people went on to become very successful. And I want to thank the Latin American Social Club for that.
And we also want to thank Raul because he's one of those that never forgot. He was always there. When we were down, the roof blew off, as you mentioned, in 1991. And it took us 9 years of volunteers to rebuild. Let me tell you, we were all working. We'd all come after work. And, we had, kids, wives, married with children, that thing. But there was so many people. A lot of people could associate me with the casino ballroom because I had been there so long.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, Fred, when is the casino coming up? I said, well, they didn't understand that. Long story short is the roof blew off. The board that was in charge then mishandled funds, the insurance money. Sad story. The roof was left open. The rafters collapsed. So the casino ballroom was condemned. And all we had was the little Latin American club. The cash cow was gone, in other words. So it took us 9 years. They left us in $200,000 in debt.
So
now, if it wasn't for people like my dad that put the financing and all my friends, amigos, most of us had ties to the casino. They all got married there, their parents. So we said, hey, we can't let our culture, history die. Others would find out that we were doing this. They would come in and help, little by little, from here, from there, from there. And like I said, 9 years, we built half of it. And it's like the old saying, open the doors and they shall come. Even before we opened the doors, people were driving around. Hey, my daughter, quinceañera, wedding next year.
Yeah.
You got any cards? And that's where we're at again. And that's why, actually, talking about this celebration, we're going to give back to the community because it's the community that has always picked us up.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give back to the community. We give in many other ways, but we want to have a celebration for our Diamond 75th. We came many, many times to losing that place forever.
Yeah.
Many times. If it wasn't this, it was that. And then COVID. We finally got up. We had to close for a year.
Yeah.
Again, almost lost it again. But there was so many things, and we're so thankful. There was the way it got done was a lot of help. A lot of people shake my hand. Fred, you did a great job. No. Fred did not do this alone. There were so many people. I mentioned my dad. There were so many people that helped. Amparanos.
The Amparano family.
There's so many. I could. They know who they are out there. The little things that they did, the little steps, is what got us there. And now, here we are. Like, I'm booking deep into 2024.
Good.
People come in, do a contract, and one of the questions I ask them is, how do you know the casino ballroom? Oh, my goodness, right away. Grandma got married here in 1952. Grandma, ta. I was in a quinceañera when I was a little girl, ba. Or,
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition, And the other reason they come is simple economics. I try to help the community by keeping the price down as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's another way we help. People, many times, they say, we can't believe you charge this much. I say, hey, well, we have bills, this, that. But they say, we can't. The other places charge double, and they're half the size.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of it, the cultural understanding, because the casino also has a big kitchen, and you're able to use that kitchen.
Yeah.
It's totally, licensed, everything, so people don't have to spend all that money, and that's help also in the economic sustenance of the community who wants to celebrate, but they don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So we're grateful for that. I want to thank also some of the other committee people like David Membrilla,
helping put this together.
Gil Federico, Daniel Buckley, who's helping us out. Who else?
Gus Ramirez.
Gus has done a great job of decorating the place and making it look so sharp.
You also have Mike Alegria.
Mike,
that put all the music together, all the acts. We had to turn away groups.
The Valenzuela family.
The Valenzuelas, everybody. We had to turn away groups because there's so many that wanted to participate because they all have ties to the casino ballroom, and there isn't one of them probably that the casino has not helped at one time or another. The other people I have in the committee, Gil Federico. Let's not forget
I just said Gil Federico.
The other ones I have that I brought in were my daughter and my granddaughters, two of them. Reason being, I said, they're already helping me out, but I want them to, they already know that this place is here. It's got to be in the heart. It's in the blood. But I want them to, I say, look, I want you guys to get some pointers here, this is that, because hopefully, you guys will be organizing the centennial celebration.
That's exactly right. So let's look forward
it's gonna it's going to be up to them. And folks, remember the celebration is Casino Ballroom, 75th anniversary, September 9th and 10th, and it's right there in the heart of South Tucson. We'd like to invite you. I also like to, when I say the Valenzuela family, I want to make sure that I say, because there's a few Valenzuelas, a couple in Tucson, is Mr. V. There's going to be a sculpture, Frank, being placed in front of Davis School because he was one of the pioneer teachers of elementary school with the mariachi curriculum. His son, Rudy, his son, Jaime, Kathy. I forgot.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll see them all at the party.
His daughters. You'll see them, and we raise a lot of money through the Casino Ballroom, and now famed Chicano sculptor Luis Gustavo Mena is right now doing this statue that is going to be right there on Granada in St. Mary's in front of Davis, and it's to honor the people that done great work for our community, and this is one of the demonstrations of our pride and also our achievement and empowerment.
I mean, honestly, there's not much more to say, and I think we're out of time, so we better wrap it up.
All right.
Because today, we made friends with Fred Martinez, manager of El Casino Ballroom, and Raul Aguirre, REA Media Group, and volunteer of the Latin American Social Club. It sounds like it's just the heart of everything going on in South Tucson. Thanks for joining me today, fellas.
We thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. It was fun, and we'll see you there. Don't forget.
That's right, you will. This was Lifestyle
Everybody
Tucson.
welcome.
Bing bong bing. Time for recap. That's one of my favorite conversations I've ever had, and Raul Aguirre is like my new best friend. This man was so inspirational. The conversation we had off air was so much fun, and you could tell that was just a walk in the park for me because I didn't have to say much. They're taking care of a lot of business there at the Latin American Social Club and the 75th anniversary of El Casino Ballroom. So I really hope you enjoy that celebration and go check it out on September 9th and 10th coming up. It's going to be a good time. So I want to thank our new friends at El Casino Ballroom for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are social. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. Toot Toot Tucson. I love you the most.